So I've been merchant fulfilling all of my new Amazon inventory for a couple months now, and I think it may be getting out of hand. So this wall of boxes behind me is over 20 video game consoles that I currently have listed on Amazon, and I am merchant fulfilling. That's why they're sitting here. In this bag is probably another 20 or so handheld consoles that I'm also merchant fulfilling. Now, for a bit of context about me, I don't normally do merchant fulfilled almost at all. I've been an FBA guy pretty much since I started on Amazon, but once they halted shipments of non-essential goods, I was forced to start doing all of my orders merchant fulfilled. And I've tried to adapt pretty quick. You can see up here, this is all game inventory that I've gotten over the last couple months and have just been fulfilling, packing up, and shipping out like all of my eBay inventory that I was already doing. Now, there are two primary reasons that I really prefer FBA and why I started doing it in the first place, and those are that it saves me time and it saves me space. As you can see from this wall of consoles behind me, I'm starting to run low on the second one and honestly would rather save more of the first one. Not only am I working with somewhat limited square footage, but I'm also a one-man operation. I don't have any employees or anything, so my time I really value at a premium. Now, as much as I love FBA, I and a lot of other sellers have been slow to send my inventory back there since they've started allowing inventory that is non-essential, because Amazon's just been a lot slower recently. So I wanted to dedicate this video to sharing some of my thoughts, some of my analysis on the situation, in hopes that some of the information will be helpful to other people who are wrestling with this same issue. Now, I should say that it is my goal to ultimately have all of my Amazon inventory back in FBA. When I mean merchant fulfilled, there is a certain satisfaction, I have to admit, in fulfilling and shipping all of my own orders the day after they come in. But at the same time, the shipping takes forever. I don't like dealing with customer service. Ultimately, merchant fulfilling is just a lot more time spent on stuff that I don't really like to do. So I want to have all of my inventory fulfilled by Amazon if I can. But I'll tell you what's giving me pause, and that's that Amazon is swamped right now. Their warehouses are understaffed and they have way more orders than they're able to fulfill in the timely manner that they usually do. Especially towards the start of the pandemic, I would have people order my items through FBA and it would be marked as pending. It would be ordered but not shipped out for like weeks at a time. And I don't think Amazon is wrong for deprioritizing my stuff. The stuff that I sell on Amazon FBA is mostly like video games, sometimes books and textbooks. It's not essential, so I understand why it was low on their priority list. But at the same time, I want my buyers to have a good experience. I don't want them to be canceling their orders because of how long it's taking. And I think that also recently buyers have been more likely to purchase items that are merchant fulfilled, given that the expected arrival dates on Prime items have been going up and up and up. In addition to that, it also has been taking Amazon a lot longer to process inventory that I'm sending into them, when normally it might be like 2 or 3 weeks. It's taking at least a few weeks longer for them to actually make my listings that I have sent them active. So for all of those reasons, Amazon being slow on the front end receiving my items, slow on the back end to ship my items, and just wanting to protect my sales and buyer experience, I've been slow to just say, all right, all this stuff that I have here, I'm sending back into Amazon and I'm gonna be rid of it. However, I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to reconsider that, and that's why I wanted to make this video now. So in order to get a feel for how fast Amazon actually was processing inbound FBA inventory, I actually sent a test batch in on May 25th to see how long it would take for it to go active. And at the point of this recording, it's been about 10 or 11 days, and some of my items from that shipment actually are currently active. Not all of them though, which tells me that they're in the middle of processing that shipment 10 or 11 days after I sent it, which to me honestly is a pretty acceptable time frame. And I think that time frame is only going to get faster and faster as more and more people return to work for Amazon. Now, bear in mind, all of that is very dependent on how many shipments you have to send out and what warehouses they're going to, how far away they are, how understaffed they are. There's any number of things that could factor into that equation. But probably the biggest reason I am going to start sending inventory back into FBA is this. About a few weeks to a month ago, almost all of these consoles here were completely sold out of FBA options. Meaning that if I were to go on Amazon and wanted to get one shipped to me with Prime, there just weren't any options. You had to go seller fulfilled, which meant there was a lot more opportunity to have a merchant fulfilled item that still had the buy box. But now, as more and more people are sending items and inventory back into FBA, that chance has gone down and down and down. And the reason for that is Amazon loves to give buy box priority to fulfillment by Amazon products. It just makes sense. They get more fees, they get stuff out of their warehouse, and because of that priority, items are able to sell oftentimes for significantly more than a similar item that is fulfilled by merchant or maybe is in a different condition and isn't able to get the buy box. I'll give you a quick example. I have a GameCube up here that is in very good condition, and because of that, I've been able to sell multiple GameCubes for $150 or $160 because there wasn't much FBA competition, even though the lowest listings for this very same item were like under $100. All that to say, buy box eligibility gives you a significant opportunity to get much higher prices for your goods. But as more and more FBA items start to hit Amazon warehouses, fewer and fewer of these guys back here are going to have a shot at the buy box. And especially the items that aren't in very good condition that wouldn't have had a shot anyway, such as like this black GameCube that has a third-party controller with it. On an item like this, I have no option if I really want to get it sold, but to compete for the lowest price on the listing, because I'm not going to get a buy box bump and I'm not going to get a Prime bump through FBA. So I know that was a little bit jumbled, but to summarize, I'm going to start sending my inventory back into FBA because one, I don't think it will take them outrageously long to make my inventory active, and two, it will give me the opportunity again to sell stuff at buy box prices with a Prime bump and get far more money than these things are actually worth for my product. Now, the last question that remains is, given that that's my goal, what is the game plan? Because if I just threw all of this stuff and all of my games, everything that I currently have in merchant fulfilled inventory into an FBA shipment, not only would that shipment take forever to create, because not only am I listing everything, but I'm also delisting everything at the same time and trying to keep track so I don't like double sell something, but also it would leave me with a few week to potentially even month-long gap without any merchant fulfilled or FBA sales, because all of that stuff is just in purgatory being shipped or sitting in a warehouse waiting to be sorted. And I want to avoid that. I want to keep sales pretty steady if I can. So the question becomes, okay, what do I send in when? And the answer to that for me is I'm going to start with the inventory that I think has the lowest chance of selling for me currently in merchant fulfilled. So stuff that either has a high sales rank for the category, meaning it doesn't sell very often, or it's in poor condition. So for example, this GameCube here that has the third-party controller. That I had to sell in good condition, that will be one of the first things to go into FBA. And you can also see up here, I've got a good number of games that do not have their original cases or maybe are missing the manual. So those are also going to be among the first to go for me, along with games that are just slow sellers. So this process, it's gonna take a lot of work. Honestly, like researching a lot of these products. I probably won't do it with a ton of the games, but especially the consoles, to see if I have a solid shot at getting the buy box within the next, few weeks or a month. It's gonna be a lot of research, a lot of digging, but I do think that eventually it will pay off in the form of the largest number of sales and the shortest possible period of inactivity for my most highly desired inventory. But folks, if this is something that you are wrestling with as well, I mean this sincerely. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments if you are doing stuff differently or the same as me, because obviously this is the first time I've ever gone through this and I'm really looking for some clarity on just how to proceed. But thank you guys for bearing with me through that who knows how many minutes of word vomit. I really hope that it was helpful to someone. If it was, liking, subscribing always really helps. And until next time, I will catch you guys on the flip.